Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 183 of the Find Your Model Health podcast for those looking to optimize their long-term health and body and understand how their body really works. I am your host. I am Shemaine Linney. I'm a fitness and nutrition expert, certified iridologist, and biohacker. I'm very happy to have you back with me for another episode. And this week's topic, I think many of you are going to enjoy. It was brought up by a client of mine last week, and I was like, well, I may as well do more of an in-depth episode on this rather than just a post, so I can explain it a bit better. So this week's episode, we are looking at body brushing, as I call it, but some people will call it dry brushing or lymphatic brushing. So before I go on, I must remind you that the information in these podcast episodes is not to be taken as medical advice and is for informational purposes only. Please consult your healthcare practitioner before making any lifestyle changes. So I have to admit that I honestly assumed that everyone knew what body brushing was or what dry brushing was, and that just goes to show my arrogance, which genuinely was an honest mistake on my part. It just seems so kind of common knowledge to me, and it is the case that this stuff is so natural to me that I just assume that everyone knows it. So it's not like I'm on purpose trying to be rude or call anyone out for not knowing this stuff. Just for me, I do it so much, I just assume people know what I know. But hopefully this episode is very enlightening, encourages you to try body brushing, because it really is a very simple, effective, I would say, biohacking tool to use. I mean, you can affect your biology with just body brushing. It does require some time commitment, but like anything, if it's important to you, you'll make it happen. There is no set time requirement for body brushing. You can do it anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. It will depend on the individual, what your quote needs are. If you're having issues with, say, lymphedema or swelling or something. So there is no quote set time. But for me, I usually spend 4 to 5 minutes doing it in the morning as I'm getting ready. I make the time to make it happen because many of you know that I have a history of obesity. Many moons ago, I was very, very, very overweight and unfortunately did some damage to my skin and my blood vessels. I have a varicose vein that will throb if I don't take care of it. My circulation is quite bad, again, if I don't take care of it. So this is a lifestyle for me. I have to consciously be taking care of every aspect of my health every single day. There is no alternative for me. Like there's just no choice. This is just what I do. But yeah, my circulation has always been quite bad. I think a large portion of that did get made worse when I was overweight and sedentary for so long, and then the pressure put on my legs from trying to sit a certain way while being overweight caused some blood vessels to get damaged. So body brushing has really been it's a part of my life since I can remember, since at least starting my own health journey, which would have been my first step was Weight Watchers in 2006. So I remember doing body brushing in the apartment that I lived in back then. So yeah, it's been quite a while. And I'm not the only health practitioner to talk about the benefits of body brushing, but I know I've spoken about it in the past. But I do put out a lot of content, so people can miss stuff or they can forget that I said something, and that's okay because that just gives me more content to put out and quote repeat. Um, so body brushing, and on top of what I was saying, so I will do 4 to 5 minutes in the morning, but sometimes if I feel, hey, I need to do some body brushing now in the evening or before bed, I will do it again in the evenings. My legs might feel heavy, or maybe I've had a heavy leg training day, or I've been on my feet all day, or sometimes you can just feel, I mean, I'm quite intuitive. Sometimes I can just feel like my body will talk to me and say, hey, you need to do this now, which sounds a bit crazy, but it does happen. So I'm quite intuitive. And I'll do body brushing in the evening. So I try to do it daily. I really do notice the difference when I don't do it, not just in how my legs feel, but also in my skin appearance and texture. But you'll see a lot of people will recommend body brushing before a shower. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't quote have to do it before a shower. You can do it at any time of the day. I mean, doing it at any time is better than not doing it at all. And not everyone showers every day either. The idea behind having a shower after you body brush is to wash off any dead skin that may have came loose while doing the body brushing. I mean, that's a whole different area. You, like, depends on how dry your skin is. Do you vacuum your house regularly? Do you air your head? There's a lot there, so I'm not going to go into that. But body brushing for sure, from and where I stand, and remember that I look at health stuff all day, every day. I'm very much in the health industry, and it's become quite popular, more so than ever, I think, as people are taking more control of their health. So this is not a new concept, but definitely growing in popularity as people look for alternative ways to take care of their health and their body. So you'll have heard of it. I mean, most of us brush our hair and our teeth daily, but not many of us would think to brush our skin. Like, why would that be a priority to you? Generally, to brush your hair and your teeth, it's ingrained in you since you were a young child, but brushing your skin or your body is not really. But the practice has been gaining a lot of popularity, and with good reason. I've even noticed that body brushing as an offering on the menu at spas and hotels is a thing. And I call it body brushing, so I'm going to keep with that because that's a natural term for me. But it's also known as dry brushing, and it has many benefits. From smoother skin to helping with the immunity. And one of my clients last night said, oh, I didn't know if it helped with the immunity. But when you look at the biology of the body and the biochemical pathways that would be impacted by doing regular body brushing, of course there would be that feedback loop into the immune system, and even, dare I say, the adrenal glands. Definitely, for sure. Yes, I stand by that 100. So dry brushing or body brushing, it originated in Ayurveda medicine, so it's been around for centuries, and there's many benefits associated with body brushing. So some you'll think of straight off your head yourself. Exfoliation, of course, being one, so ridding the skin of dead skin cells, dry skin. Then we think of helping the body with cellulite. I might get into a bit more on that as we go through the podcast. So body brushing helps with your lymphatic system, it helps with your blood system, and not only that, the movement of other fluids through your body. So that can be just water, or it could also be chemicals, hormones, toxins. So it really helps stimulate the movement of all fluids through your body to be directed into the right place and then excreted or detoxified in the correct manner. Then we can see increasing cellular energy, again back to a feedback loop of the moving the fluids and the blood through the system. We also then see that there's many benefits in improving circulation, and we see this with lymphedema and people that have other inflammatory and conditions where we would see a lot of swelling in the appendages or around the feet or even around certain joints. Body brushing can be very helpful for this. Then we can take it a step further, and there are benefits associated with body brushing for lymphatic diseases. So issues like Hodgkin's, where we have cancer of the lymph nodes and swelling of the lymph nodes and any sort of issues there can be benefits, and there are specific lymphatic physical therapists that would work with someone that has a specific condition, so they can do more specialized techniques or directional techniques for body brushing with those conditions. And I'm going to just go over the kind of generalized stuff for the general population. If you know that you have a specific condition, you may require more specific directions. You can of course reach out to me and I'll help wherever I can, or you can look for some sort of lymphatic drainage specialist, or you can also look for a lymphatic physical therapist as well. So dry brushing basically works by not only exfoliating the skin, but moving the skin and the fat and the tissues underneath the skin in a specific direction to encourage movement of fluids and even stubborn fat pockets from specific areas towards either our lymph nodes or our excretory organs as well. A lot of practitioners will encourage that we brush in a direction towards the heart, because your heart is a pump, and whatever you brush towards the pump, it's going to pump more effectively around the body and towards those excretory organs like your lungs, your bladder, your intestines, and so on. So the idea is that when we get a body brush that has coarse, hopefully natural fibers, that we are able to put enough pressure onto the skin as we brush in certain directions. So dry body brushing, it is exactly what it sounds like it is. It's brushing the skin in a particular pattern with a dry brush. Many practitioners again will say before showering, but really I think whenever you can do it is going to be better than not doing it at all. In body brushing, your skin is typically brushed towards your heart, but that will be different if you have conditions. If you know you have a blocked lymph node underneath your armpit or something, you're going to have to brush in a specific way. But regardless, it is a good idea to brush towards the heart to get things towards the quote pump there, so that it can be excreted properly. So when we first look at choosing a body brush, the picture I have shared for this podcast, those two are the body brushes that I use. So both are firm, natural bristle brushes. One has these kind of rubber nodes in it that kind of helps get into massage fat pockets and tissue a lot deeper than just the bristles alone will. So usually I will use the one without those rubber nodes first to just kind of give my specific areas a once over that I do. So generally I'll do my upper arms under my armpits, I'll do around my hips, low back, quote, the area that we would call love handles. I'll do my thighs, back and side of my thighs. And I do this because I'm me, basically. Some people will brush their whole body. I brush where I know I specifically have circulation issues, quote, my problem areas where I want to optimize the circulation in those areas. And I know the other parts of my body are not so much compromised when it comes to circulation. And obviously time is a thing for me. I'm quite busy. I have a lot to do, so I like to pick and choose my battles. So along with the body brushing, I do a lot of rebounding, I do a lot of exercise, I do a lot of inversion, so I'm also supporting my circulation in other ways as well. But when I body brush, I'm doing my, quote, my specific problem areas, but some people will do other areas. Now, back in the day when I started my own weight loss journey, I used to do up my calves and behind my knees. We have a lot of lymph nodes behind our knees. But as I've kind of got my routine down, I don't need to do them as much now. But I still like to do my thighs a lot, and definitely under my upper arms, and into my armpits for sure. Those are areas for me where I've noticed circulation, it's gotten better, but it still needs a little bit of help. But some people will do their whole body. And the brushes that I posted a picture of, I like those ones because one, you can wrap the rope around your hand and grip the brush in a way that it gives you full control, and it's easier to maneuver and put pressure. That's why I like those handheld brushes. It's easier to put a good amount of pressure because you want to make sure that you're putting enough firm pressure on the skin as you're moving through the brushing process that you even can visualize, yes, this is enough pressure that I can feel I'm moving fluids under the skin, under the fat pockets, whatever it may be. Like, you can feel you're actually doing something. You don't want to be brushing so light that you're really just brushing off the top layer of dead skin. You have to put pressure on it. We need to put enough pressure, but not so much that you hurt yourself or cause yourself to bleed or give yourself a rash or anything, but enough pressure that you can feel, yes, I'm moving stuff under the skin or the pocket of fat or whatever it may be there. So that's why I like those brushes. They're easier for me to handle. But some people will buy body brushes that have a long handle, which allows them to reach like their back if that's a problem area, or maybe they're not so limber or fit that they struggle to bend over. So having that handle on the brush can help them brush up their feet, up their calves, and up the back of their legs a little bit easier. It's going to be a case of each to their own. I just find that I can't control the brush as much with a long handle. It's not as effective for me, and I cannot put the pressure in the way I like to with those handheld brushes. But you can try both and see which one you favor. They're both going to be effective. Just the amount of firmness may be different, and that depends on you and what you want out of it. But you're definitely looking for natural bristle brushes, and most of them now are. If you go ahead and get some sort of plastic brush, the chances are you're going to cut into your skin, you're going to cause bleeding, you're going to cause a rash. We don't want this. So it should be gentle but firm. And in the beginning, um, your skin will be sensitive, and you may prefer a softer brush in the beginning, and then as you get used to body brushing, you'll start to move to a firmer brush. That's perfectly fine. I had in my picture, I had the one on the right well before I got the one on the left with the rubber nodules on it. That one with the rubber nodules, it is harder, like it is firmer, it is rougher, but now I've come to really enjoy it. When I first started using it, it was like, oh my god, this is rough, like this actually hurts. But now I've become accustomed to it and I enjoy it and I like the feeling of it. So I have the one on the right with no nodules. It is firm, but it's a little softer, and then the one on the left. It's nice to have options and choices, depending on how you feel. That way you can swap around as you want. I do recommend that you clean out your brush at least every couple of weeks just to get rid of the dead skin. You can bang them outside in the air to get the dry skin off, which is what I'll do before I give them a rinse with some hot water and soap, and then I let them air out. So you want to do that at least every couple of weeks. You'll be able to see, not to sound gross, but you'll be able to see if there's a buildup of dead skin on the brushes generally. So let's go back a bit to the benefits of body brushing. So the obvious one for many people is going to be the exfoliation. So this benefit is often noticed the first time a person body brushes. So obviously running these firm natural bristle brushes over the skin helps to loosen and remove dead skin cells and tissue. So this is naturally safely exfoliating the skin. And you want to remember though, if you're using this for only exfoliation purposes, you don't want to do it over an area where you have a rash or you may have a skin condition like dermatitis or eczema or anything. That's not going to be a good idea. We don't want to do it in those areas. And you don't want to do it where you have like an open wound or a cut either. So they're just some simple things to bear in mind. But if you're doing it for exfoliation purposes, you'll notice that you get less dry skin and your skin will be softer within the first few days, definitely. And then we look at the well, I suppose the next step here would be what's on most women's mind is cellulite. So the thing with body brushing is it can help with cellulite if done in the correct way. But I need you to understand that how it affects cellulite is also going to go in tangent with other lifestyle factors, your activity and your nutrition, definitely nutrition. But what we're doing when we body brush is we're breaking up these stubborn fat pockets or fat cells, and we're helping them move into a more even space so that the appearance then starts to even out. Now, this also can be used, it's the same idea for those quote stubborn fat pockets. It's the same idea that when we are regularly body brushing these areas in a firm way, we're breaking up these body fat pockets. We're breaking them down so that they can be moved, as we say, they get liberated. So they get moved to be burned or broken down for energy or pushed into the cells or detoxified or whatever we're going to do with them. And what I mean there is whatever you're going to do with them is going to depend on other lifestyle factors. If you're in fat burning mode, if you're exercise, like there's other things. But the appearance of cellulite and moving stubborn fat pockets, I think they go hand in hand. If you're body brushing, let's just say your thighs, you have a lot of cellulite on your thighs, but you also know like you struggle to lose the body fat from the thighs. When you're regularly body brushing, not only will you see the appearance of the cellulite start to even out and look better, you will also notice that you may look slimmer in those areas as well, especially if you're on like a fat loss campaign, because you're liberating the fat cells from that area. Generally, where we have cellulite is the same area that we have stubborn fat, because in these areas we don't have a lot of blood vessels. So there's not much blood flow to this area. And when there's not much blood flow to the area, there's not much going there to help liberate or move the fat. So the fat just sits there, creating a pocket. It just stays there. When we body brush, though, we encourage energy to that area. We encourage blood flow into that area, which then encourages the liberation or the breakdown of those fat cells, and then they can be moved to wherever we want them to. This is why, and I know I've spoke about this in the past, that body brushing is very effective for those stubborn fat areas around the thighs, the hips, the back of the arms. Really beneficial. So yeah, the next would be the lymphatic support, and all of this really goes hand in hand. Like, there, none of these benefits are separate from the other. They all work in tangent. They all go hand in hand. So for the lymphatic support, our lymphatic systems really do require a lot of support, and they can struggle a lot on a daily basis depending on your lifestyle and the demands you're putting on your body. And the thing with our lymphatic system is our lymphatic system runs from our feet up to our neck. So not only does it have to fight against gravity, but if you're on your feet all day, if you're maybe carrying extra weight, if you maybe have extra toxins in your body, maybe you're a bit sedentary, you're not moving too much, you don't get a lot of exercise, you're really putting a lot of demands onto your lymphatic system. Not to mention if your liver is not optimal, if you're not detoxifying in an optimal way, like your detoxification systems are not functioning properly, maybe your cardiovascular health's not great, maybe you get a lot of constipation. Like, there's a lot of factors, but really, our lymphatic system, we put a lot of demands on it every day, and body brushing can be one way to support the lymphatic system. Very affordable and very doable. So many of our lymph vessels run just below our skin. So when we do brush them, we can encourage them to move in a certain direction and kind of give them like a little push along, a little boost. Like, we come up behind these fluids with the firmness of the brushing, and we just kind of move them along, kind of like you'd hoosh a slow child along, like you're gently patting them on the back, like, come on, come on. So it's the same idea. So body brushing will help encourage lymphatic flow and help with that detoxification properly. And this can be very beneficial for people that have swelling and poor circulation, any sort of lymphedema or edema, or even just chronic inflammation. This is a great tool. It really is. And if you want to know more about kind of poor circulation and lymphedema and swelling and stuff like that, I did a podcast episode maybe a year ago at this stage. The title is pretty much swelling, poor circulation, something like that. I can get the link for it. But go back and just listen to that so you have an understanding of what's happening in the body, and then you'll have a better understanding of how body brushing can then help support that. But this is a very simple, easy process that can be very effective, and I will get into how to do it as we move on. Um, so one thing, back to the exfoliation, when we body brush, we can also help the pores decrease. They are tissues in themselves, but as we clean the pores and keep them clean, kind of like exfoliating your face, the skin on your face, you're clearing out the oil and the dirt and the residue from the pores wherever you're body brushing. And this can then cause the pores to shrink and appear less noticeable, which then can cause the skin to become tighter, or, well, I'm not going to say appear tighter. I mean, if the pores shrink and the tissue gets tighter, then yeah, the skin is getting tighter. So that's one thing I want to mention. I wouldn't recommend brushing your face with one of these big brushes, but you can get smaller body well, you can get smaller little brushes for your face to brush your face, or you can get like exfoliating pads. I like exfoliating face wipes. Um, and then we back to kind of, all right, so you can get support with energy when you body brush, and this comes back to the whole lymphatic system. We get this feedback loop that if you're moving fluids through your body more efficiently, then fluids are going to be coming in and out of each cell more efficiently, which helps not just the detoxification process of the cell, but the functioning of the cell, how the cell produces energy, because we've encouraged proper detoxification, which is very important down to a cellular level, and people don't think about this. So when we encourage the improved fluid flow and circulation, we then are improving the detoxification. We're improving how fluids flow in and out of the cell. And when we get poor fluid flow, or poor hydration, or a buildup of toxins within the cell, then we see that the mitochondria are not functioning properly. The cells are not functioning properly, therefore you're going to feel lethargic and fatigued. So this is very important. Not to digress too much, but there's a big problem with toxic overload in people's body and fatigue, right down to that cellular level. I understand I'm one of the few people that thinks of it down to a cellular level, but I really think more people should. What you put in your mouth, or the things you do on a daily basis, they impact you right down to the cell. And we have millions and millions of cells in our body. So maybe just bear that in mind. But either way, this is why it can be a good idea to do it early in the day as part of your morning routine, so that you can get that kind of energizing reaction from the brushing along with the rest of your morning routine. And then when we come back to the immune system that I mentioned in the beginning, with immunity, if we encourage good detoxification and flow of fluids and lymphatic fluids, I mean, your blood and your lymphatic system, these are two of the main components of your immune system. When we have toxic overload, not just in the cell, but in the whole body, we're not detoxifying properly, it's going to put a big strain on the body and a big strain on immunity as a whole. So when we get everything flowing right, we're supporting immunity, we're detoxifying, we're supporting resiliency, we're supporting white blood cell count, which is very important for our immunity. So this is like a feedback loop, where body brushing may, from a superficial aspect, may help with nice, clean, beautiful skin and a reduction in the appearance of cellulite. But down on this biological level, we're seeing a feedback loop where it will support the cellular energy, it will support immunity, and also, I'm going to throw this in there, it will support adrenal function. Because if there's one thing that's going to drive up adrenal fatigue, it is a state of stagnant or stagnation, yeah, in the body, where we accumulate toxins and fluid is not flowing properly, and this is very taxing to the adrenals. I mean, this in itself is a stress, and our adrenals are one of our first port of calls when it comes to dealing with stress. And I would definitely say this is going to be very beneficial for many people that have adrenal issues. I actually would go as far as saying that body brushing in the morning, for people that are even flatlining right now with their adrenals, like they're just fatigued all day, body brushing is going to be great in your morning routine to energize you. But then body brushing in your evening routine is going to be equally as awesome for relaxing, because it has a very relaxing kind of proponent to it, but it's also going to help the adrenals and the detoxification aspect when you sleep, which connect directly to adrenals and even sleep quality. There is a lot here. Back to that relaxing aspect. I did have someone, body brushing can be very, very relaxing for many people. Kind of like that idea of, these little sand brushes you can get, and you'll just draw pictures of sand or in the sand with these little brushes. It can be meditative. Some people will find body brushing very relaxing. One of my clients commented earlier on a post that her son with autism, whenever he would be having, say, an episode where he was highly stressed, she would bring out the body brush, and it would be very soothing to him and very relaxing to him. And this could go back to the whole sensory aspect of the brush on the skin for him, but she said it was very beneficial for him. And this brings us to, this could be a tool for anxiety as well. I think if I spoke long enough, I could probably connect the benefits of body brushing to nearly all health issues. Like, I would say it has a benefit nearly everywhere. I dare I say, even the two C words at this stage. We used to have only one C word, and now we have two C words. One thing though is, again, we don't want, body brushing may not be for everyone. If you have very sensitive skin or a skin condition, like I mentioned, psoriasis, dermatitis, eczema, you want to be careful. Maybe speak to your health practitioner before you start doing something like this. So, how do you do body brushing, or how do you practice body brushing? While I'm here, or just to go back to what I said at the beginning, if you have a special quote condition where you maybe have Hodgkin's or lymphedema or something, you may want to speak to a specialist in this area, because there's different protocols and ways that we would body brush for special conditions. But if you don't, and you're just doing this to improve circulation and just improve the appearance of cellulite, liberate some fat, exfoliate your skin, then we can do more of a generalized thing. So many people, if you're going to do your whole body, you're going to start at your feet and you're going to move up your body up towards your groin. So you would do, say, ankle to knee first, and you would do a couple of strokes in each area. So you could spend a few minutes on each body part. So you're brushing up from the ankle to the knee. And what I used to do when I would do my calves is I would do 12 strokes on each part of my calf, kind of working my way around. So be brush 1, 2, 3. That sounds quite long, so you could probably cut it in 6, but that's how I used to do it. And then over the knee, I would be brushing upwards. And now I'll still brush from my knee up towards my glutes or my butt, the back of my knees specifically, because again, we have those lymph nodes there. I'll do my lateral thigh, so my external thigh a lot, because I have a varicose vein there, so I like to encourage a lot of blood flow there. But I'm doing these short strokes up from my knee towards my butt or up to my hip, and I'm doing that. Usually I'll do 12 to 24 counts, but remember, I'm not doing my whole body. I'm only doing the areas that I need the help in, or I need the specific circulation support in. So I'm using a good enough pressure where I can feel things, not hurting myself, but the pressure should be enough that you feel like you're moving it, and you can see it, like an indentation moving through your skin as you're brushing. You can see that, unless like you have no body fat and you're like very, very lean, then you won't see that indentation because you're just brushing muscle. But the majority of us normal people will have some sort of layer of body fat where we can see that as we brush, the skin is indenting and moving. So once you've done all that up towards your groin, then you can brush. There's Okay, so there's the generalized consensus for body brushing the stomach is small strokes up your stomach towards your heart. So that would be from your pelvis to just your bra line, up, 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 and you would spend a couple of minutes doing that area. Now, for myself, I like to do internal circular motions. So circular motions around my hips and those quote love handles in towards my belly button or towards my core. So not outwards, but in towards. So I'll do 12 circular motions on my right hip, 12 circular motions in on my left hip, and then I'll move my way kind of around that spare tire, as we call it. By the way, I don't have a spare tire, but it's that area. I'm only kidding. And I'll do that also on my thighs, on my lateral or external thighs. I'll do like a 12 kind of rhythmic circular internal motion towards my heart on both of my thighs as well. So you don't just have to do that kind of north to south motion. You can do some circular moves as well, and I like them because I feel like that encourages more blood flow when we get this kind of rhythmic circular flow or energy kind of happening in specific areas. Now when we come towards your like chest and your arms, um, many practitioners will tell you to just brush your arms in short strokes, each section of your arm in towards your armpit and then in across to your chest, to your clavicle there, in towards the heart area. And remember, I'm speaking to generalized population, no one with specific lymph issues or diseases. For me, again, I like to hold my arm up in the air to encourage blood flow down from my fingers towards the lymph nodes in my armpit. And while I'm holding my arm up in the air, I don't really have circulation issues in my forearm. So what I'm doing is I'm brushing from my underarm to my armpit, down just past my armpit, down to my like bra line, where my bra line would be. So these long strokes, and I'll do 12 to 24 from my elbow down through my armpit towards my bra line, and then I'll do the opposite arm as well. I feel that holding your arm up while doing this encourages better blood flow, and I want to get like basically the most effectiveness from the short time I have. So I'm trying to kind of optimize how I do these things. Like when I do my thighs and my legs, I'll elevate my leg on the bath, the side of the bath, just to help that blood flow easier. I mean, if you're standing doing your body brushing, you totally can do that, but you still have gravity playing against you. So I like to elevate. You could even put your heel up on the toilet, with the lid down, of course, just to kind of help that blood flow. And I really find this is a great way to do it. And then if you were kind of, again, doing your neck, you would be a bit gentler on your neck because the skin on your neck is a bit more sensitive than the rest of your body, like the skin on your face. But that kind of gives you the general idea of how you would do it. And then if you want, you would have a shower and then use your lotion or coconut oil or whatever else you use after that. But I mean, it's not too hard to do. It can be quite effective and easy to do, but it really is up to you to do it. Like, make it a priority, make it a part of your morning or evening routine. If you can't do it in the morning, aim to do it in the evening. It as well, like I've said, I do it in the morning and sometimes the evening as well. I will do it before my shower or my bath as well. I say to my clients all the time, this is your life. This is your lifestyle. It's a part of your life. This is what you do now. This is not just a short-term thing. It's not an intermediate thing. You're not just doing this for a couple of weeks until you see an improvement in your cellulite. This is lifestyle stuff. We do this forever. It's just what you do, and it's a choice. It's a priority. I want to feel good. I want to do this. So Yeah, I'm going to leave that at that. I think I've given you a lot of information there on how to do this, and you can also Google some stuff. But the key idea is moving back towards your heart, towards that pump, and then that will bring it to the excretory organs there. You want to get like a natural bristle brush. You can decide if you want the handheld one like I use or one with a handle. People ask me all the time, where do I get my brushes? Well, HomeSense, I got one in HomeSense, a really good one. It was like $8. These are not expensive at all. Then I got the one with the nodules that you see in the picture. I got that on Amazon. Maybe that was $13, but they're not expensive and they will last you quite a while, like years if you take care of them. So definitely a really good investment. Um, and then you're just moving the motions and doing it regularly. And that's the key is consistency, as with everything in health. Everything in health, it is consistency and making it your lifestyle. This is just what I do. I eat an apple a day. It's just what I do. It's not a chore. It's not like, oh my God, I have to do this. It's just what I do. So this is one of the longer podcast episodes that I've done in a while. I hope you found it informative. If you've any questions, reach out to me through my website, shemainesmodelhealth.com. Reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, Shemaine's Model Health. Please share with anyone you think may benefit from this. Definitely people that have circulatory or swelling issues, edema, lymphoma, anything like that, lymphedema. So sharing is caring. It really is. Um, and as well, I'm sure many of you know that small businesses, of course, are struggling right now. So if you feel I deserve it and you have the time, I would very much appreciate a review on whatever podcast platform you listen to my podcast on. I would very much appreciate it. It helps a lot. I mean, I have my kind of target market in Alberta, but there's people all over the world that will benefit from this information, and reviews really help small businesses, and I'm going to say small podcasts like mine, reach more people. So I really appreciate it. I send you lots of good vibes. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll chat to you all really, really soon. Okay, bye bye.